by the pizza place.
Yeah.
If you want to bring that up and just stick it on the railway track.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you're getting them to.
Mine's in the car.
Initially, when the very first thing was service, they had a bit of simulated and they went in and that was it. Then after that,
Yes. Down.
But you won't stay up, will you?
No, I got to. Thank you very much.
No? Brilliant, thank you.
tape measure with it. Stewing the end on them. I thought,
I just wanted to check what you're saying is I'm saying.
When I printed them out, I was like, oh, yeah, that'll be fine. And then, here we are, and I'm like,
Anything showing on that meter?
No, it's discharged. Well, the battery's discharged.
Sorry about the pyrotechnic bins, we can't really do much about that.
My wife and I owned 34 of these vehicles at one time. We brought 2 shipments into the UK in 1990, and these came from the war in Bosnia. And these tanks were actually came from the Bosnian Serb area. And then we drove the low loaders went from the Serb side into Sarajevo. They were immediately impounded by the Muslim government, and smoke comes out, and of course the enemies gunners can't see the tank as a target. It's also the smoke is anti-infrared. They're just taking it nice and easy and relaxing. They are still vigilant. There could always be air attacks. There could always be attacks from the Maquis, but that's the French. That's the French underground. And in certain areas. So despite those large explosions exploding all around the arena, the German soldiers are holding their nerve. They're keeping their eye on the enemy in front. And by the looks of it, defensive positions. Some have stayed. A number have taken shelter behind the motorcycle combination. But on this day, this nice warm sunny afternoon in August 1944, what's not to like? When
Someone got too close with the headset.
some heavy lighting. But believe it or not, even though the driver is down inside that hole, so you can't see to help the artillery soften up the enemy for the infantry. But they found it was equally safe, if not better. And in the Hürtgen forest, the 6-month battle that the US Army lost in 1944-45 against the Germans just south of Aachen, the only way they could do the side, and they could, on either side there was a long road with troops of 6 paratroopers each side. So essentially, with this vehicle, which is not high parachute, they use aircraft paint rather than military paint. So the Weasel is going past us now. The interesting thing about the Weasel is it's the only vehicle, as I say, I've not had the chance to describe even a fraction of what's here, but you'll see them as you're going around the arena, around the site. There's 2 or 3 sites. There's the Allied sites, there's the German sites, there's the modern sites, there's tank sites. The owners of the command vehicle for the officers, leather seats, very plush inside, lovely to drive, lovely and comfy. The problem was that when the Germans, or the Japanese, but mainly the Germans, when the Germans saw these vehicles out in North Africa for the first time, they knew that those vehicles were carrying all the generals and all the officers. To get switch vehicles was number 1 priority for the Germans to knock out. You've guessed it, the command car. So they were going about 15-20 miles an hour. Absolutely. And this was in the 1960s. They painted that yellow patch on the bonnets of all the vehicles. This was the brainchild of the boffins. What's the yellow patch for? Well, if they get poisonous gas, the yellow patch turns blood red. Unfortunately, the public's not allowed because it's a dangerous place. It is a training area. There are explosives everywhere, and the British Army are training there. The Ukrainian Army is training there. The place with an awful lot of mountains, an awful lot of steep slopes, and a lot of tunnels. So obviously you've got to have a tank which will fit into those tunnels. So these tanks, these were built in the 1960s, from the 1960s onward. There was an earlier version called the Panzer 59. It's got a bigger turret and a far bigger gun, obviously. So behind our Super Sherman, as it were, we have a Chieftain Mark 13, marked with our friends from New York. These particular vehicles, these Mark 13 tanks, are the last attack of the diesel warehouse space. Now, warehouse space is costing the MOD too much money. So the Treasury says, right, you've got to sell all these Chieftain tanks off. The space that's been taken up in the storage is costing the country too much money. So the British government decided to sell all the tanks off. Now, what I tell you